welcome back, Rankers. It's a long weekend here in Melbourne, but I thought I'd record now anyway, so I can get it out early and not have to worry about it on a day off. But a lot of people don't have a public holiday, so sorry. We do. I want to talk to you a little bit about SEO. I know, right? SEO. The reason is I had a call during the week. Hi, Adam. And I had a long chat with Adam, who wants to be an SEO client. And I said, well, what does that mean to you? Because it used to mean rankings. It used to be like back in, 2004, 2005, it used to be about, okay, we're going to work on 10 keywords and we're going to get them all on page one within a given period of time. And back then, I used to do it as project work. It was just like a set project. You do it over a month and bang, off you go. Charge a lump sum. See you next time. Problem with that model is the client usually stuffed it up the following month after you left and after they paid you all that money, and then they blamed you. So that's when we started, and I'm pretty sure we were first one as Australia, to start the retainer model, if you like. And that was basically so we could be there watching them and look for more things and how we could grow their business and their traffic and their rankings. And to me, rankings has never been about the goal. Like, rankings has always been the strategy. And then the tactics to do that, to get those rankings is SEO, of course, right? So it's always been about how does this grow your business? You're getting the eyeballs, what are you doing with them? Is that traffic converting? So my comment this week to Adam was, well, you've got to, we're very strict about the people we put on the revenue model, right? So, but that's our model purely for retailers, and we work a lot with retailers. For our B2B type clients and clients are looking for lead gen and those sorts of things, we still do them. But it's not a revenue model. So we ask them to put a value against the leads that they're getting. And that's difficult for most businesses, which is interesting, right? So you would say to someone, if I could give you 300 qualified leads, what's that worth to you? You'd quickly work that out. Like if someone said to me, hey, I've got, X amount of leads, this is what they're looking at, this is what they've asked for, they're pre-qualified, they're actually looking for you, I'd have a long, hard think about what I'd be prepared to pay for those. And we have, in fact, as you might imagine. And the way that we did it was basically, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can look at the lifetime value of a client. So this is from actually a guy who's an actuary turned marketer. So I really value his opinion. And one of the things he said to me was, well, look at the lifetime value of a client. And a good metric is, say, pay 2 to 3% to acquire that client. So if you can work that out, if you've got long-term clients, repeat business, that sort of thing, you can work it out that way. And then you take it back, so you've got a value of a client. Or it could just be a one-off payment. They are paying you for a piece of work. And that, in that case, you simply say, well, how many leads do we usually close through our website? And even if you get an amount of spam, you can say, well, out of the 10 leads we get, we close one. So you can quickly work out that you're going to close 10% of those leads that you're getting, and they're worth X. And back in when I used to do sales back in the 80s, you always had to think of every rejection as worth something, right? So if it took you 10 rejections to get a $100 sale, each rejection was worth $10. Well, it's a bit of a mind game as a salesperson that you do, right? But for a business, it makes sense because you can say, okay, I know not every lead converts, but they're each worth this, essentially. Or what am I prepared to pay for each lead? Knowing that I'm only going to close 10%. Okay, so a couple of ways you can think about it. But what I said to Adam was, don't think about it as necessarily an exercise in rankings or traffic. That's essentially a byproduct of doing good SEO. And it's not the goal, because there are so many things that go into SEO, as a lot of good SEOs will tell you, it's not just me this time, is that it's a lot of user experience stuff that you're doing. So things like speed, things like navigation, or things like usability issues that you would fix maybe for the Googlebot. The reason the Googlebot needs them is because the user needs them for a lot of those things. Accessibility, prominence of content, that's telling them that you're telling the user something. So if your important content isn't prominent, then what are you doing, right? So that's what Google's doing as well. It's looking at all those sorts of things. So good SEO, a lot of it's about good user experience, a lot of good, and a lot of it does come down to that. But it also comes down to, some would say, less user experience stuff like structured data and those sorts of things. So you can start to get more information on your website displayed elsewhere, like in the search engine results. Things like prices or whether it's in stock or things like that. Things that are maybe dynamic on a page, say for a retailer. But also for someone who's running events or anything like that, right? So recipes is another one. That's also good for the user, not just for the bots, right? Because the user gets to see your content elsewhere. Yes, you're doing something for the robots. So a lot of the stuff that you do with SEO affects a lot of other areas of your business, including paid ads. As I've shown you before, when you get your structured data and you do good SEO on a site, the ads are always going to work better. All right, so we usually have a bigger impact on sites where we're doing the SEO and the ads rather than just the ads alone. And the other thing, and spare a thought for your poor SEOs who may not be doing your ads, right? Because as soon as you switch on a brand campaign, their traffic goes through the floor for organic. So if you're measuring them on traffic and then you switch on an ad campaign, they're going to lose a lot of mobile organic traffic with that, okay? So there's all these other things. So the SEOs in some ways shoot themselves in the foot if they're not doing the ads because they're getting the site looking really good. And I had this conversation last week at Retail Global. Hi, Tracy. And I said, look, I can do a lot more on your site. I said, but I need you to understand it's going to make your ads people look good, all right? And so we'll monitor that and we'll watch that because it's going to increase their conversion rate and it's going to drop their cost per click because it's going to be a higher quality site and all these other things. And we don't even have to touch the AdWords. We know that's just going to happen. So when you are doing SEO, and once again, we're very careful about the clients that we bring on as SEO clients. You've got to understand, and SEO is not a very good term anymore for what most competent SEOs are doing compared to what it was when it was purely manipulation of the search engines, right? It's not that anymore. So just have a think about that. When you're doing that, have a think about how you're going to measure the success of a campaign. And this is if you're using an agency, if you're using someone internal. There's a lot of other things that good SEO does that you may not know about, and you might just be thinking about rankings and traffic. Don't. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.